Hey guys, welcome back to Etheria Restart. In today's video, I want to have a chat about my strategy going into launch now that we've obviously had revealed MIO, who is the new SSR light unit. And I want to have a chat about it because when she came out, she is really strong. And a lot of people have been asking me, because you guys know I'm the Lily guy. I've been planning on rerolling for Lily forever. I do think Heinrich is another fantastic option. I honestly think Messiah is another great option. If you want to do the poison play, Sanya is good as well. Doki, I think is just like a solid middle ground where I'd be glad to get her on account after I've got one. One of the ones that I really want. But I don't think I would target her specifically personally. But then it comes down to, would I rather be rerolling for MIO? Oh, and just in editing, this whole thing is assuming that she is in the standard banner at launch. If she's not, and she's like a delayed banner and she's after Messiah, then so be it. But the way they put the announcement out of her, it seemed like she was there, like the two new units were there for the launch. And there was also an image in the in the video that they showed that had, you know, the Messiah banner and the Freya banner and the beginner banner there, and they showed the drops and she was in the drop list. So we'll have to wait and see. But once again, this is assuming that she is going to be in the standard banner at the launch of the game. And for me, I'm going to be honest, I'm still probably going to be going for Lily. I'm going to do my best to explain that, but I will probably, if I get any accounts while rerolling with MIO or Lily or Heinrich, I will still run those accounts up on the side, all of them, and try and see maybe one of them gets two of these units and, you know, pick the best one after like 1 or 2 days of inefficiently grinding some while maining one to see what I can get out of it. Messiah is even another one that I'd be tempted to run up as well. But yeah, it just gives me more options of characters that I will run accounts up for. But I think at the moment, I am still leaning towards Lily. Now, if you want to know more about Heinrich, I definitely recommend going and looking at the video that I made, going through him, why he is a great option to reroll for. But I want to go ahead and do my best to explain why Lily is still my choice. So if we go over MIO, so Pride went over here, we've got what we could find, like what was displayed of her skills over in the video that they put out. So her basic attack does 240% damage to a single enemy with a 25% chance to freeze for 1 turn. Now that is, the 25% chance is when it's max skilled. You can see at the level 3 increase, it goes up to 15. Makes me think at base, it's going to be a 5 or 10% chance to freeze, which is very low, because the way they explained that the accuracy and resistance works is that the ceiling, meaning like the max chance you have with as much accuracy as possible, is going to be double what the activation rate is. So this being 25 means that at best you got a 50% chance to land regardless of accuracy. At least that is the way I understand it. I will update you guys if anything on the understanding of this accuracy resistance changes. It means, you know, at this one it's a 30% chance. So, you know, it's a basic attack. It's not meant to be super broken. So I think it's kind of balanced for a basic attack. Skill 2. Now this one, it didn't have a description for us, but it did show us that the max chance to land an AoE freeze was 40%. Now it also had a wound application in there, which is a heal block, which is really nice. And this 3-turn cooldown is at max skills. So it's a 3-turn cooldown, AoE, freeze with a 40% chance that also has a wound application, which I'm assuming would be a higher application chance. The freeze is for 1 turn, and from what we saw in the gameplay, the wound is 2 turns, so 2-turn heal block. So that gives this like a 80% cap to go ahead and freeze. Now, the big thing on this one is the other main freezing unit that we have in the game currently is Kraken. And his ability max skilled is a 4-turn cooldown. So, you know, this is nice compared to that. His is more reliable though, and it does have a gauge pushback, just something else to think about. Then on her skill 4, we got this one, which is going to deal 300% damage to all enemies with a 65% chance to steal the main target's turn meter by 50%. They said in the thing that it steals all of it, and I'm pretty sure from what we saw, it steals all of it at must be max skill or something like that, so we'll have to wait and see. And then redistributes 25% of turn meter from all other targets to all allies. Still waiting on, because the footage was a bit sketchy. Even the footage, like you could see your teammates getting pushed back. I thought that was because she was stealing over 100%, because 100% from the main target maybe, plus a bit of that extra redistribution, meaning she was pushing herself beyond past 100% gain on the gauge bar, which meant everyone pushed back. pushback. But even when we saw one of the ones, I believe she had a Hoyan in her team, and Hoyan was moving back relative to the clocks that were getting pushed back. So I'm not 100% sure on the way this interacts, but essentially AoE gauge pushback with a speed buff on a 4-turn cooldown is honestly pretty nice. Now the 4-turn cooldown is the hard thing on this one when you got a speed buff. Normally your buffs, you want to have a better uptime than that, meaning, you would rather be going ahead and putting that speed buff on and having a 3-turn cooldown. However, if she does steal, and if it does end up being 100% steal on the hit, that would mean that she is now able to get an instant turn. So her speed buff wouldn't last as long, but if she would get an extra turn, essentially keeping that uptime of the speed buff on her allies a lot better. So, those are the trade-offs that you have in this one. Now, the reason that I am still leaning towards Lily, and then I'll talk a bit more about MIO, is because when I look at all of these LD characters, including MIO, and I think as a free-to-play player, now this is the important part, as a free-to-play, if I was to, if I am going to reroll for one LD unit, I have to accept the fact that I just make up the scenario that I will never pull another LD unit until we get new ones with rate ups that I save enough. So I'm like, which unit would I feel the most annoyed about not having on my account? And even with how strong MIO is appearing, it still remains to be Lily. I just think Lily, she has PvP usability. She's usable in the dungeons, every dungeon. She's usable in clan boss. She's usable in the wolves. She's just like a good all-round unit. Now, she may not be top tier in all those places, but she's still going to function fairly well in all of those places. So she's kind of like a splashable support that's good just about anywhere in the game. And as we get better DPS with good basic attacks, especially that she can bring along with her assist, well, then she's just going to get more value from that. So that is why, for me personally, like I said, Heinrich is great as well, but for me personally, I still see Lily as that one where I'm like, I would rather have her. Now, once again, I am biased. I definitely always recommend you guys go check out other people's opinions, jump into Discords, watch other people's YouTube videos, because I am biased in my opinions, and I completely understand that. So I'm just explaining to you why I am doing this. I'm not saying this is the right method. This is just what I am personally leaning towards. So that is why I really think Lily, for me, is still the one that I want the most. Now, if we go over here, back over here, and take a look at MIO. MIO, what is she going to work in? She is going to make Doki Doki Dungeon pretty much non-existent difficulty. I think if you max skill her, she is going to be very skill hungry. You definitely want to be getting her skills into her skill 3 and her skill 2, and probably into her skill 1 for the speed boost, but also, if you want to land that freeze, but it's mainly the speed boost, but you could probably skip the skill 1. I don't know, but just get the skill 3 and skill 2 and see how you go. But with her, she's going to make Doki super easy. 3-turn cooldown, AoE freeze, even if it's only 80% capped. That's still good enough considering you've also got the pushback. You see I've seen a lot of people saying, it's like Marvel and Kraken had a baby. It is kind of like that, but, I think the one thing she is lacking is that speed slow that Marvel has, which is very, very valuable. Also, I prefer Marvel's basic attack, which is the stealing of turn gauge. Once again, he could get balanced. No balance patches come out at the time of recording this, so we'll have to wait and see. But in general, I do think she's going to make Doki Doki very easy. She's going to be great for, if we jump back over into here, she's going to be great for the PvE modes that are like challenge based. So the echoes, any of those progression stages in echoes or Ember Trek, where you have ads that can be frozen, she's going to be incredibly valuable in there. Ethernet Rally as well. Anywhere with ads that you can freeze, she's going to be fantastic. And she's also going to be crazy. I think she's going to be crazy in PvP and guild wars when they come. So obviously that's going to be her main thing. Where is she going to fall out? She's going to fall out in, Teramaton, in Aurora. She won't really have usage in those places. Some of the shell drops, she may have some use, but in general, she's not going to be the best over there. Phantom Theater and also in the guild boss, she's not really going to excel. I don't think she's going to have enough. And once again, this is just assumption work here. I don't think she's going to have enough to go ahead and compete in these aspects of the game in the current state of the way she's built, because she's more of that control unit. So she's PvP or any PvE mode that have ads that you can control, she is going to absolutely dominate in. And besides that, I think she's going to lack in these areas. And that's why I like Lily. I feel like Lily is going to be across the board generally good in just about anything she comes into. Even if she's not top tier, she's going to be still usable. And when I look at, to me, as a free-to-play pulling just one single LD unit, I want them to be usable in a lot of areas for me with room for growth. And that's why I like Lily. Once again, Heinrich is another one of those ones that is usable in a lot of areas as well. I still will need to test him more in a like maxed out guild boss to see if he is viable to bring in, because his damage alone isn't good enough. But maybe that crit rate increase and crit damage increase that he can bring for his teammates, well, it's a debuff that goes on the enemy, but maybe that makes him, usable in these types of bosses as well, not for his damage, but for his supportive capabilities. So we'll have to wait and see. But once again, for me personally, it is Lily, but I do think, like, don't get me wrong, if I'm playing through an account and I pull a MIO, I'm 100% building her, and I'm probably going to skill her up her skill 3 and skill 2, and then I'm just going to clap through. If I can reroll an account, get Lily, and then I pull her, dude, we're on easy streets. But once again, when I do reroll, I will be trying to get her, Lily, or Heinrich, and then just run those accounts up on the side, see which one ends up being the best, and away we go with that. But that is my general thoughts around MIO. Once again, this is without having tested her, so this is all theory-based. So if any of this does change, I will let you guys know. But once again, at the moment, without having got my hands on her, just through theory of her, I think she's fantastic. I think if you want to reroll for her, I think it's a great option. But for me personally, I'm still probably going to go for Lily. And that could be just bias copian because I just enjoyed the Lily team at playthrough just so much. And hey, it is what it is. But once again, go check out other opinions, go to Discords, go to YouTube videos, because I don't think you should just be listening to one person to get your ideas off of, because I am flawed and I'm biased and I'm open about it. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.